Coming up on Mountain News this morning, one Central Kentucky organization is working to help increase attention for Sex Trafficking Awareness Month. Plus, to help people stick to staying sober and their New Year resolutions, a Kentucky bar is offering non-alcoholic drinks.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. It is 6:32 a.m. on January 2nd, 2024. Let's check in with meteorologist Shane Smith for a look at your forecast this morning. Shane, I'd say the weather went into 2024 with the new year, new me outlook.
Yeah, definitely decided to go towards the colder side of things. Maybe it's giving everybody the cold shoulder to start off this new year. But if you're a fan of wintry weather, I've got some interesting stuff coming up for you. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Dealing with a little bit of wintry precipitation this morning, very isolated in the nature over in the Big Sandy. You'll see that here on the satellite and radar perspective. Over in far eastern Kentucky and down along the panhandle of Virginia, there are a few snowflakes showing up, also extending into southern West Virginia. And this will dissipate over the next hour or two. Not expecting any problems from that, although you may see a little freezing drizzle in a few spots in the Big Sandy. So take it easy out there this morning. Right now, our Skycam network is showing mostly dry conditions, although you can see a little bit of moisture on the roads there in Pikeville, where it is currently 32 degrees. 34 Manchester, 33 London, 32 Williamsburg, 34 Somerset. We're cloudy right now, but we are going to mostly clear skies by the afternoon, as highs only top out into the lower 40s. So a chilly day, definitely will want that jacket. But if you're a fan of snow, we at least got some chances in the forecast, but it may not be as much as you would like. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a few minutes, Madison.
Shane, thank you. A Waffle House workers cleaning up a mess after a man looking for New Year's Day lunch ends up in the hospital after a shooting. Shots were fired inside a Waffle House on Dixie Highway in Valley Station, Louisville, right around lunchtime. One man was hit several times by a man known to the family. David Mattingly has more details on the situation.
Eric Stovall stood quietly in the cold, watching officers work a crime scene at this Valley Station Waffle House, and he worried about his father. He says a young male known to his family shot his father 3 times in the back.
It's just an ongoing thing. The guy wasn't supposed to be around any of us. My dad came up here to get some food. Dude was in there, pulled a gun out, shot my dad in the back.
Stovall says his sister was with their dad and saw it happen. Other customers were not harmed. Inside, we could see a toppled Christmas tree and blood on the floor. Police locked the restaurant down, not allowing anyone inside, including the district manager, who did not want to give us his full name. When you got here, what'd you see?
This right here is everything marked off.
How are your employees?
I don't know. I have not been able to talk to nobody. They will not let me in.
No other injuries were reported. LMPD reported a man detained on the scene and that there was no threat to the public. Stovall says he was on his way to join his father and sister for a New Year's lunch when it happened. Instead, when he arrived, all he could do was wait.
Just gotta hope and pray right now. That's all we can do.
That was David Mattingly reporting. According to the LMPD, the man shot was conscious and his injuries were described as non-life-threatening. January is Sex Trafficking Awareness Month. For 23 years, Natalie's sister has helped women escape the cycle. A common misconception is that most victims are kidnapped by strangers. Data from the National Human Trafficking Hotline shows 81% of sex trafficking victims were brought in by someone intimately close to them, meaning most victims are not kidnapped by strangers, often preyed upon by someone they know, like a friend, family member, or romantic partner. Executive Director Janie Lewis says traffickers rarely take their victims by force.
Most of the time it's going to be people who are just walking down the street, and if you didn't know It's not like Pretty Woman. If you didn't know, you would think it's a college student walking down the street or somebody who lives in the neighborhood, and you kind of get used to the activity and motions and movement, and we can tell. But if you were driving down the street, you probably wouldn't know.
The nonprofit is collecting food and women's clothing, and there are plenty of volunteer opportunities. New member training will be Sunday, February 25th. You can register online. A Corbin man is behind bars after police found out he was behind the wheel while intoxicated. Deputies with London PD brought 56-year-old James Forbes into custody this past weekend. After a traffic stop was performed, deputies discovered Forbes' speech was slurred while also having bloodshot eyes and constricted pupils. Forbes faces multiple charges. A Corbin woman is facing several charges after police learned she was driving a vehicle under the influence. A traffic stop was performed on the woman last Saturday, which led to her being arrested, while the 28-year-old Alyssa Emmett was being taken to the Whitley County Detention Center. Police found suspected cocaine and other paraphernalia in her possession. Emmett was taken to the Whitley County Detention Center but has since been released. A Corbin man also faces charges after police say he reportedly assaulted multiple people in a bar. On December 23rd, officers with the Corbin Police Department noticed the 25-year-old Joseph Collett was swinging a chair at other people. Collett resisted arrest before deputies were able to bring him into custody. Collett was taken to the Whitley County Detention Center but has since been released on bond. In Whitley County, a man is behind bars following a domestic violence incident. Williamsburg Police Department arrested 52-year-old Wade Rains last week. Rains is accused of assaulting a female victim, which caused her to be seriously injured. Rains was charged with assault and was taken to the Whitley County Detention Center. Today marks day two of many people's New Year's resolutions. One challenge that gained popularity is Dry January. The idea is to give up alcohol for the first month of the new year for health or financial purposes. One co-owner of a Lexington-based brewing company says this time of year can be tough for brewers. He says that to combat this problem, the business came up with alcohol-free solutions.
We have 5 mocktails that we'll have on the menu throughout January, as well as a couple non-alcoholic beers that we get from Athletic Brewing.
One bartender with Lexington-based Blue Stallion Brewing says while there are alcohol-free choices, she says there are other ways you can support these types of businesses during this time. Supporting the companies on social media is one, while folks can also buy gift cards as well. A Knott County man has found ways to put smiles on everyone's face each day. Tom Gayhart works as a maintenance man at the Knott County Courthouse. While being respected for his hard work, Gayhart has become a community favorite through interactions. Judge Executive Jeff Dobson says Gayhart is a joy to have around.
He keeps things spick and span looking really well, and he's always the first one to greet people when they come in the back door to get them to where they need to be, whether it be the sheriff's office, the PVA office.
Gayhart has worked at the Knott County Courthouse for nearly 40 years. He says his favorite part is the people he interacts with.
Well, we are tracking cloudy skies across most of eastern Kentucky on this Tuesday morning. Let's take a look outside the WYMT studio right now. 32 degrees, mostly cloudy. We head on over to Pikeville. Pikeville Medical Center camera also showing that thermometer sitting right at 32 right now. Getting reports of a little bit of flurry action and some freezing drizzle over in the Big Sandy this morning. So just know that may slow down your morning commute just a little bit. 28 down in Wise under mostly cloudy skies. We can see a little bit of that light precipitation still showing up on the satellite and radar picture, although it is not as intense as it was earlier. But just know there may be a slick spot or two over near US 23 and back down along US 640 or 460, excuse me. Temperatures generally low to mid 30s across the area, and we're only topping it out into the lower 40s. So a chilly day on tap and a couple of chances of winter weather in the forecast. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a few minutes, Madison.
Thank you, Shane, and thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:41. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. We'll take a look at the aftermath of a 7.6 magnitude earthquake that hit Japan on New Year's Day.